Hey, hello leaders, and welcome to another episode of the video version of my daily leadership podcast, Run to Your Leadership Challenges. This is episode number 319, and we're wrapping up the week. This is Friday. Tomorrow we'll have the weekend edition, but this is the Friday version of this week. And this week we've been covering how to lead your team successfully when you have mental health issues and disorders on your team. And today we're going to dive in and talk about ADHD. So let me hit the record button and we will get going. And I'll give you some value at the end as well. And we're off. Hello leaders, and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. Hey, this week we're talking about the challenge of how to successfully lead your team in the midst of mental health issues and disorders in the workplace. And today we're talking about something that once again hits far too close to home with me, and that is ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. According to the nonprofit organization CHADD, or the children and adults with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD is a neurodevelopment disorder affecting 11% of school-age children, and symptoms continue into adulthood in more than 3/4 of the cases. So that's a pretty large percentage of adults we're talking about. CHADD also says that individuals with ADHD can be very successful in life. However, without identification and proper treatment, ADHD may have serious consequences, including school failure, family stress and disruption, depression, problems with relationships, substance abuse, delinquency, and accidental injuries and job failure. So the Center of Workplace Mental Health states that symptoms generally fall into two broad categories, and they are inattention and hyperactivity and impulsivity. All right. So here's the symptoms of inattention. These include, but not limited to, having difficulty focusing on tasks that require sustained attention, overlooking important details in work, school activities, or other tasks, failing to follow through on instructions, and becoming easily distracted or displaying frequent forgetfulness in regards to completing daily activities. So anybody fit in that category? Here's some symptoms of hyperactivity and impulsivity include excessive fidgeting, having difficulty sitting still or standing for extended periods of time, struggling to wait one's turn, such as while waiting in line, and or interrupting others often in conversation or during activities. So if you fall into any of those categories, you may have ADHD, or if your child does. Now, the Work Center for Workplace Mental Health also lists some workplace concerns. And when comparing adults without ADHD, adults with ADHD are at risk for decreased productivity on the job due to poor time management and difficulty multitasking or distractibility, so they're easily distracted. A greater risk of unemployment, underemployment, or job loss. An increased propensity towards frequently changing jobs, holding multiple positions simultaneously, or experiencing lower job satisfaction. And finally, a productivity loss due to absenteeism, poor performance, and disability, with productivity loss from these cases recently estimated in the range from approximately 88 to $141 billion annually. And that's just in the US. So what can you do as a leader? First of all, education is, again, a big key here. Make your entire team aware of the symptoms and the signs and the treatment for ADHD. Also, promote the use of the organization's health insurance coverage, or the use of EAP, or Employee Assistance Program. Medications and therapy can drastically improve symptoms of ADHD and allow people with ADHD to function a lot better. So educate your team members. You can also accommodate team members by allowing them to move their desks to a place that isn't in the middle of all the action. If there's a lot of distractions around, you're just feeding the fire there. So put them in a place or an office where they're away from distractions. And you might want to talk to them about this too. Just don't pick them up and move them. Explain this and explain how you're trying to set them up for success. Finally, if you suspect a team member has ADHD, you can help them out by talking to them and asking them if they would like help. And you could provide them with more details and maybe give them a list of daily tasks, like step by step. Or you can provide them with a detailed checklist. That may help them stay focused and on task. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this week's topic, and be sure to join us tomorrow for the weekend edition as we talk about stress in the workplace and how you can deal with that as a leader. Hey, have a great rest of your day. And until tomorrow, run to your challenges. All right, once again, I really pushed that limit. So that's 5 minutes. I'm going to have to edit that down to about 3 to 3.5 minutes. And this week I'm going a little bit longer on the podcast, but this is some important stuff that we're really talking about, and I think it can really help a lot of people. So I am reading a little bit more. I'm reading some of the data and the facts that I am gathering online, and I want to provide you with accurate information. This is not my expertise by any way, shape, or form, but you know what? I'm just doing the research, and I highly recommend that you jump online and do some research as well to set your team up better and to lead your team better and more effectively. Because let's face it, mental health issues and disorders in the workplace are not going to go away anytime soon. So it's up to us to educate ourselves and to educate our team and our organizations. So, ADHD is predominantly, a lot of times people point towards children, but again, like we said in this, the facts show that 3/4 of the children who are diagnosed are carried into adulthood as well. So that treatment and that therapy needs to continue for them to be able to reach their maximum potential or their full potential. All right, so encourage this. Talk about it openly with your group or your team. And the last thing is, you can help them out by providing more details. Now, some of your people that don't have ADHD may consider this to be micromanaging. And, so sit down and talk to them. Have real conversations with them. Don't be afraid, and don't avoid this like the plague, like so many people have a tendency of doing. As leaders, we need to get involved with our people's lives. Don't get too involved. I mean, when you step over that line, you'll know. But, asking general questions, and again, you don't want to come out and say, hey, do you have ADHD? Because they may be offended by that. But there's ways of educating your people. Tell them you have an open door policy that they can come in and talk about certain stuff if they think they need accommodations or whatnot. But as soon as somebody shares something with you, then that gets into HIPAA here in the U.S., that the Privacy Act, and you don't want to mess with that. So don't pry too deep, but you can help your people out as a whole by doing a whole lot. Education and awareness, it starts there. Offering accommodations possibly, and again, you're setting them up for success. Hey, that's it for today. Have a great rest of your day. If you're listening on the day this comes out, it's a Friday, so happy Friday, and have a great weekend. Be sure to join us tomorrow for the weekend edition as we talk about stress in the workplace. And that is a mental health disorder, and it can lead to serious illnesses. So be sure to join us tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. See you later.